All right, how to write an excellent resume. So why do we write resumes? Question for you. To apply to companies, definitely. Why else do we write resumes?
It's another way that you can advertise yourself to others.
Exactly, advertisement. Good. So we are at a religious school, right? So we're going to spin this a little bit. Resumes help us get to eternal life. How does that happen? Resumes help us get to our interviews, which help us get a job, which gives us valuable experience and gives us opportunities to serve our fellow men, which then helps us achieve eternal life. Ta-da. All right, so again, the purpose of a resume in the purpose of the secular world is advertising yourself, getting past computer filters and getting you an interview with the employer that you want to be employed by. Ron, will you read this, please?
A good resume tells a story about the experiences you've had that will make you a good fit for a particular position.
Absolutely, thank you. So, Jenna, what does that say to you in condensed words?
So it's like a summary of our life, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a summary of our experience, right? Why we are a good fit for them. Tells them our story and why our story would help them grow their story. So a resume should include 3 things. Excellent English if you're applying in an English job sector, or excellent grammar in whatever country you will be applying in. Excellent formatting. That means you need to have the same formatting. I'm just jumbling words now. Anyways, excellent, consistent, that was the word, thank you. Consistent, like indentations, capitalizations, everything needs to be looking the same. And excellent advertising of yourself. So don't sell yourself short. You're all amazing people, and you need to show that in your resume. So first, excellent English. This includes grammar. Which tense you're using. Is it past tense? Present tense if you're in your current position and that you're talking about. It needs to include good spelling and good punctuation. How many errors are okay in your resume? 1, 2, 5? None. 0 errors are okay. Because this is a professional setting, right? When you're writing your resume, you're working for yourself. And if you're not going to give 100% to yourself, how are you going to give 100% to your employer? And something to think about. Number 2, excellent formatting. If you're not good at formatting, use a template. On the BYU careers page and on like Google Docs, they have templates available to you for you to use to set up your resume. You don't have to work from scratch. Make sure everything's aligned correctly or the same. So if you want everything to have a right hand indentation, make sure everything has a right hand indentation. You want to be accurate. This is important with the names of companies. If you're not sure how to spell a company's name, Google their name, copy and paste onto your resume. Be consistent, be clear, and be clean. These are all...
What's that thing mean?
Be clean. So we'll hit on that in a second. We'll go further into it. But to be clean is to make sure it looks nice. It has a professional presentation. So why do we need a template?
Must align everything. Template does it for you.
Exactly. It is so much easier to work from a template. If you're like me, you're a little bit lazy sometimes and you want to do the least amount of work possible. So doing a template, it gives you the least amount of work possible with a good presentation. As long as you follow the template. If you go off script, I can't help you. So be accurate. So a lot of people, they might spell Polynesian Cultural Center wrong. It's not Polynesia Cultural Center, it's with an N. Brigham Young University, Hawaii. This one's really common. The hyphen versus the longer hyphen. It has a special name. I'm not sure what the special name is, but if you don't know how to make this mark, Google BYU-Hawaii. It's on the website. It's the first thing that pops up. Copy and paste that from Google. You'll get the correct punctuation for the name. Being consistent, so making sure all your fonts are the same. This is a lot of information right now. We're about to get into some like hands-on, nitty-gritty work, so bear with me through the rest of this. So be consistent. Fonts, we want to make sure all the fonts are legible, no fancy swashbuckler or whatever type letters. We want Times New Roman, Century Gothic, things that are really easy to read. They should be all consistent. Obviously, it's under the consistency. Dashes, we want the dashes to be the same. So if you're going to make bullet points or dashes, we want all those to look the same. Same with dashes between dates. So if this were like January to March 2019, we want it to look the same as the same one that's down here, which is March to June 2018. Alignments, making sure everything's aligned to right, left, or center. And it's consistent throughout the resume. Spelling, we want to make sure that is consistent, so instead of having Polynesia Cultural Center and Polynesian Cultural Center having it spelled another way, we want to make sure it's all spelled the same. Or that they have their abbreviations, which were previously mentioned. We'll go over that. Spacing, we want spacing to, again, be the same. Instead of 2 spaces, make sure it's 1 space, or if you have spaces on the side of your dashes, we want those to be all the same. And font size, make all the small text small, larger text larger, and it's all the same. What's the purpose of consistency? I've said it so many times. We want to be the same. Everything needs to look same and professional in your resume, no crazy outliers. Unless you're graphics design major, then do whatever you want. Just kidding, don't do whatever you want. Be consistent. File formats. Don't send your resume as a Word document. I can't tell you how many times I've done that with my personal papers for school. I've done it with resumes for jobs. If you send it to Word as a Word format, it can be changed on the formatting depending on where they open it. If they open it on your phone, but you worked on it on your computer, it's gonna condense it, jumble everything up. It's not gonna make sense. But sending it as a PDF, it's going to look the same no matter where they open it up. It's gonna look nice, it's gonna look crisp, it's gonna look consistent. Also, if you are anywhere outside of the United States, in Canada, I think, uses the 8.5 by 11. Anywhere like Asia Pacific, since this is the APCC workshops, you're gonna wanna use A4 paper, which means you're gonna need to format your resume to an A4 piece of paper. And you want a clear file name, so not resume 2011, because that's gonna go into a bunch of other files that are called resume. They're not gonna know who you are. They're not gonna go searching for your resume through all the other resumes that are just lost in never resume land. You want your name on it, D. McKay resume, or David McKay resume, Jordan Manco resume, 2018. Make sure they can find you. If they can't find you, you're not gonna get the position. So this is for the US, but depending on your location, it can vary depending on what is the cultural norm. So for the US, they ask you not to add a photo, no birth dates, don't put your gender, no high school dates, and it should not be over 2 pages. I know in the Pacific, a CV is a lot more common, which is basically an extended resume. It gives all of your education, all of your awards, all of your jobs that you've had, any participation that you've had like in the community. It's a lot. So for Pacific, go ahead, make your CV. It's still a professional presentation, but for US standards and for some other countries, it shouldn't be more than 1 page. And the reason why this is these can be discriminated against in the United States. So if you are planning on applying in the United States, even if it's at McDonald's over here, don't put any of this information on there because it can be discriminatory. International standards. Do your research. So if you're applying in Hong Kong, research the resumes formats for Hong Kong. If you're applying in Tahiti, look up the resume formats for Tahiti. Make sure your resume looks the best it can for your location. So be clear. Your name is the most important part of your resume. If your name isn't clear, if they can't find your name, but you have a great resume, how are they gonna know who to talk to when they call you up on the phone? So your name needs to be the biggest and boldest thing up at the top. They know who they're looking at. Spelling abbreviations. If you're going to use like PCC for the Polynesian Culture Center, you want to make sure you first say or write down Polynesian Culture Center and then put in the abbreviation PCC. That way you can mention it throughout the rest of your resume without having to write it out. It's great, saves time. Life hack. Also, to be clean, make sure your margins are even on each side. No more than 1 inch, no less than ½ an inch. It might depend on international computers, how they do millimeters, whatnot. I'm not sure. I'm howling. I don't know. But make sure they're consistent and it's not too much space and too little space. Spacing and density, to get into that. You don't want your resume to look crowded. Instead of it looking like New York, you know how there's like building upon building and you can't tell anything apart? You want it to look like Hawaii. It's beautiful here. It's wonderful, it's sunshiny, there's wonderful qualities. Oh look, over here, this is a great quality. This is also a great quality. Not so densely packed that they can't pick out what they need from your resume. Colors should only be black and white, unless you are an art major, in which there is a little bit of leeway, but traditionally, black and white. And then you should only have a few sections, such as what education you've had, what jobs you've had, experience, and then any certifications, etc. Only a couple. Sections. Name and contact information, first and foremost. This can also include your LinkedIn URL. That way, if they get your resume electronically, they can click onto your LinkedIn. And your LinkedIn should look just as good as your resume. So while you're working on this, work on your LinkedIn. They should be synonymous with each other. Your summary or your profile. This is debated in many areas. There's some people who don't really care about your little profile or your little summary. There's some who will only read your summary and profile, and if it's excellent, they want to talk to you. They don't care about as much of the other stuff. But it really depends on your employer, and you should cater to the majority, which the majority do. Enjoy a summary, just to get to know you a little bit. If you have a cover letter, you could forego the summary. Education should be on there. As mentioned earlier, experience, and then any additional information you want to add. So if you are applying for a research graduate program or a research position at a hospital, put what research you've done in college or outside of college. You know, you want to cater your resume specifically to who you want to work with. Number 3, excellent advertising. We're almost there, guys. We're almost through it, I promise. So pre-write, you want to just brain dump, basically, which is what we're going to do in a minute. You're going to write a summary. You're going to write that little beginning part, yeah? You're going to write your bullet points, and you're going to revise, and you're going to edit. It's kind of like enduring to the end. Once you get to the revise and edit, you just keep doing it over and over and over again until you retire. And then you're going to adjust it for each job as well. So, let's see, Jenna, will you read that, please?
Okay. Tell your story in a compelling way to show them why they should hire you.
So Jenna, tell me about yourself in a compelling way. Why should I hire you?
Tell my story in a compelling way.
Yes, tell your story in a compelling way. Calling you out, girl.
My story. Okay, so I am working as a career mentor. No, now working as a life designer in the career center.
Okay.
And I am professional at working with the computers, like Word documents and maybe even Excel. And I think I am professional with communication skills with people because I have experience as a life designer, but as well as a 1-year experience of tour guide at APCC. So I think you guys have to hire me.
Perfect, you're hired.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thanks, Jenna.
Yeah.
So, see how elevator pitch and resumes kind of go hand in hand? Your elevator pitch is just basically a condensed verbal version of your resume. So we're going to tell our story in a compelling way. Tell them why they need to hire us. We're good for their position. So your pre-write, this is what I call the brain dump. Just get all your information out. What do you offer? It can be in general, just to get your resume started. It can be when you get started on your specific resume for an employer. What do you offer for the professional field, for this employer? What do you offer? Write everything down that ever comes to your brain. Was that a question? Okay. Stretching. Elbow popping. Perfect. So you're going to list your accomplishments. You're going to list your skills and traits and abilities. And then you're going to group these and filter them. So some accomplishments might be that you have been a tour guide for the PCC and that you are a life designer in the career studio. So that would fall under communication. You are proficient and professional in your communication skills. This can also fall under customer service. You're good at doing things to help people feel better about themselves and can help people get what they need, etc., etc. So we're going to list them, group and filter. Did you have that?
I look like that.
Okay. So we have our handouts. I told you guys we were getting to the hands-on stuff. And for those of you who are watching the video, we will make these handouts available online. Cool, so we're going to use the handouts. We are going to write a summary. Let me pull up so I have an idea. On this section, we're headed here. These are accomplishments, abilities, skills, and traits. You can check mark which ones you have, circle, write more that you want to be able to develop, whether it's time management or adaptability. You're going to take like a minute or so and circle and list skills that you have or want. All right. Let's see. I didn't catch your name. What's your name?
Hey, Juan.
Hey, Juan. What are some of the traits and abilities that you circled, Hey, Juan?
Honest, hard work, good listener, dependable, kind communication, teacher, resourceful, intelligent, maintenance, great and patient, good character, first learner, team builder, planner, positive.
All right. You sound like a good candidate already. You're hired. So we're going to group these. So what are some that you see that could go well under one category?
I don't know. You mean here?
Yep, in these.
I think leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Make something happen. Something like that.
Okay, good, yeah. So leadership, hardworking, those can go together. These are for like points that you'll put into your summary. So I'm a hardworking XYZ who is proficient in leadership of XYZ people in teams. I'm a good team member, that XYZ information. Beautiful summary. All right, what are some others? Jenna, what are some that you could group together under one category?
Good character.
Good character, okay.
Like we can have positive, good listener, kind, something like that into character.
Yeah, so having like a good character like category and then having kind, caring, hardworking under that. Okay, good. What are some of yours, Ron?
So, I broke them down into three groups.
Okay.
Service, leader, and workmanship.
Service, leadership, and workmanship?
Workmanship.
Perfect, okay.
And I numbered them. So which one will go into which section. For service, for example, for service I picked church mission, parenting as well. Because even though it's parenting, I can change it instead and say, I looked after a bunch of people when I was in church, but not use them only maybe something that's related.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then I had an education award.
An awards winner?
Awards at work. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
Oh yeah, awards at work. So like
Yes, something you get around.
employee of the month.
Okay, so that would go into workmanship. Then leadership, which is leadership, service words, lead meeting, like something. There's a bunch of other sports. Basically, there's everything here that I put into three groups except for mechanic. No.
Okay, that's fair.
But yes,
Cool, awesome. Thanks. All right, so go ahead and, as Ron was doing, take those groups, and we're going to write a brief summary for ourselves to kind of get our juices flowing, okay? So take some of those skills, some of those traits, those categories even, and write a summary about yourself, and then we're going to share with the class. So make it good. Sell yourself. Y'all are amazing. I want to hear how amazing you are. So while you're writing that, I'm going to make a mention about a summary. It's up on the board. Your summary is your best advertisement of yourself. It's the first thing that they'll see when they see your resume. So you want to make that, if that's the only thing that they read, you want to make that the best thing that they read out of any resume. So these filtering and grouping is really helpful. If you have other qualities that aren't listed on here, make sure you mention that. It could include research. It could include looking after children. There's a lot of like.
How would you start something? What are the words?
I think is there one over here? So here's an example.
What's example?
Example B, here. There's also some action verbs in your handout as well that you can include in your summary. You can start with some of these. So I guess I should have said how to write a summary for those of you who are struggling a little bit. You should just take a couple of points from your grouped list, yeah? And it should only be 2 or 3 lines long when it's on your resume. Cool, so we'll just move on from summaries. So, bullet points, getting into the details of your content of your resume. So there's an example resume in your packet as well. You'll notice there's some bullet points. It's gibberish, it's the lorem ipsum. That's all this stuff is on here. It's what we were given at the center. Bullet points. They should focus on how you make a difference as an employee, as a citizen of the great country that you are living in and working in. Who did you help? How is your presence? How does it matter? How did you help them? So it could be service opportunities, like a missionary field type experience, or it could be an employment opportunity. How did you help them? Who did you help? How did you make a difference? Good bullet points to focus on. All right, so the PRAC rule, it's power verbs, results, actions, and quantifying. These are the points that you're going to use for your bullet points. This is how you turn a mediocre bullet point to an outstanding bullet point. We're going to use this one. I picked up trash at the PCC. This is what this person did as their job. They were grounds maintenance. So how can we use this PRAC to improve I picked up trash at the PCC? Go ahead and think about it and write your own examples. Your new PRAC. Practified?
I feel like I already know the answer.
Yeah. If you already know the answer, just play along.
You want me to write a different one?
Yeah, go ahead. Make your own version of it. Because there's no single correct way to improve. Unless you improve to be a serial killer.
I think the hardest thing to improve your how hardest time spinning on their resume is mission.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is a difficult one, and we're going to talk about that. I don't know if I have my mission on my resume anymore. I was going to pull mine. But mission, we'll talk about that in a minute after we crack picking up trash at the PCC. All right, so if you need power verbs, again, there's a list of power verbs that has been provided to you in your handy packet. All right, we need to move on, so we're gonna go ahead. So picking up trash at the PCC. Jenna, how did you improve this statement?
Served over 2,000 visiting Cultivation Culture Center, PCC, every day by picking up pictures.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Oh my gosh, I forgot her name.
That's okay, come on.
Hi Juan. I'm sorry. I knew it was hi something, but I couldn't think of the second part. Hi Juan. What did you put for your bullet point?
So I didn't know how to really change the rights, but contribute to PCC to maintain their business.
Good. That's good. It sounds a lot better than just picking up trash, yeah? It's good. So yours kind of sounds a lot more like this better one, yeah? Enhance customer experience at Hawaii's #1 paid attraction by picking up trash. It sounds a lot better than just picking up trash at the PCC, right? Does it have the power verb?
No.
Enhance.
Sorry.
It's all good. Let's see, what's R? Results. Does it have results? Does it have action? Does it quantify? Not so much. Not so much. So, an excellent one. Enhance customer experience for 2,000 guests daily by maintaining clean, safe environment. Sounds a lot better than I picked up trash at the PCC. Amen. Amen. So even if you just picked up trash at the PCC, guys, you can make yourself sound like the most efficient worker there ever was to maintain a clean and safe environment for 2,000 guests daily. They don't need to know the specifics if it's just picking up trash and putting it in the trash can. Save that for your break.
So that can go to your summary?
It can go to your summary, but we have moved to the bullet points within your resume itself. So this could be applied to like your experience of being grounds maintenance for PCC. And the bullet point underneath that would say enhance customer experience for 2,000 guests daily, etc. So I know we're working on some, like, not our own resumes right now. We are about to. So after we have these par-cued, or par-cued is exercise science. Sorry guys, mixing it up. After we have pracked our bullet points, after we've had our summary, we need to go through and revise and edit. Because the biggest room in the world is room for improvement. And so, that being said, you can always go to resources like the Reading and Writing Center. They can help you with grammar. I know I'm not great at grammar. I'm not. It's not a strong suit of mine. So, they help me a lot. They help me with spelling. I know spell check is like a thing now, especially with Grammarly. It's not that great of a speller these days either. So Reading and Writing Center, awesome. Academic Success Center, they'll read over your resume. They'll tell you what they think. Tutors, these tutors can be formal tutors that you pay, like here at the Language Center, or it could be just your friends, your family. I like to send mine to my dad because he hires people for a living, and he'll tell me, this is a really crummy resume, or you're doing really good. You can ask your instructors to look over your resumes because they're in the field that you're looking to go into. They know what a good resume for your field looks like, especially if they are from your area or have had experience in your area. So these are some really good resources to help you revise and edit your resume. And then you want to adjust your resume for each job. Keep a master resume with detailed information. I like this to be my LinkedIn page. I keep all my information on there. That way, when it's linked on my resume, people can go on and see a lot more information that wasn't specific to their job, to the job I was applying for. But keeping a master resume, you can pull bits and pieces of what you need to cater for a specific position. You need to find keywords. So if you're applying online, make sure you're reading thoroughly what exactly they're looking for, especially in their required section, because if you have a great resume, but they don't find a keyword in your resume, it's going to go through the computer filters and it's going to be dropped because you're not going to have the keywords that they're looking for, the requirements that they're looking for. So that's what getting past the computer filters means. So in summary, the purpose of a resume is to advertise yourself, get you past computer filters, and get yourself an interview. You need to have excellent English or excellent insert language that you're applying in here. You need to have excellent formatting, and you need to have excellent advertising of yourself. Remember that PAR-Q, or not PAR-Q, the PAC. There we go again. So other services that we have at the Alumni Career Service Center, we will help you with your resume. We just opened up, or we will be opening a life design studio at the Career Center. It's no longer going to be called Career Center. I think one part of it is, but we will have a life design studio where we can help you design your resume. We'll be helping you design your future, basically, helping you get like a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, kind of get organized in yourself to move on from college. We offer personality assessments. This includes the Myers-Briggs Type Inventory, the MBTI, as well as the Strong Interest Inventory. There's so many services that we offer at the Alumni Career Service Center. One of the many ways you can find out about these offers is through handshake.byuh.edu. And the best way you can know about other workshops is going to mentor.byuh.edu and signing up on the platform so you can get mentors in your field that you want to work under and learn from professionally. Based on what you learned today, this is a part in here on the very first page. The services that you now know are available, and by the direction of the Spirit, what are the next 3 steps you're going to take in your professional development as far as resumes go? Go ahead and write some of those down. And we'll open the floor to questions. We'll open the floor to working on resumes and elevator pitches. We'll practice with each other some elevator pitches, which is just, like we were saying, your resume, just a verbal form of it in 30 seconds. On your handouts, you'll also see some additional resources that aren't mentioned, as well as some resources for a cover letter, which we won't go over in our workshops. But if you have any questions, you can come find us at the Career Center. We'll help you create one. All right. Thank you all for participating tonight, and we will open the floor to resume creation and practicing elevator pitches. So this is an example of an elevator pitch. You only have a short amount of time to be able to present yourself to a person. Like you're in an elevator with them going up only a couple floors. My buddy Ron here, he's going to be an employer, and I'm going to bump into him on the elevator. I'm gonna chat with him and network, present myself a little. to him. See where that goes. All right. And C. Oh, hey, you're Ron, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I'm Jordan. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You work with the F&M company, yeah?
I do.
It's so fascinating. I've been reading some research about you guys. I've actually developed some research that I think might be really beneficial with your company. Do you want to hear about it?
I don't have much time, but
I know. Maybe another time when we can get together and talk about it. But I am a graduate student, just about to graduate here soon. I'm going to be going into psychology, and I think that I did not prepare this.
that's fine. You're doing great. Keep
Oh,
going.
perfect. I've developed this research program to help employers work better with their employees and have a more satisfying work environment. And I think it would be really beneficial with your company based on the research that I've done on you guys.
So you know a bit about our company, huh?
Yeah,
So yeah, I'd love to.
awesome.
You-
Well, here's my card.
Okay,
I know we're about
awesome.
to get off. Can I have your card as well? Do you have a card available?
You know what? I don't, but you can come by my office. It's right here where I'm getting off.
Oh, perfect. I will stop by a little later then and pick up a card from your secretary and set
Yeah.
up a time to meet.
Why don't you do that?
Sounds
That'll
good.
be
Thank
good.
you so much,
You're
Ron.
welcome. Nice
It's
to
so
meet
good
you.
seeing you.
All right.
Woohoo!